Hi, my name is Lana Gaich, and I am here with Irena. She is an analyst as a profession, and she is currently on maternity leave. She has a 3 month old and a 3 year old, a little over a three. But she has been a stay at home mom now for the last 3 months while she's on maternity leave. And I want to take a moment and say hello, Irena. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks for asking me to join.
Absolutely. So, Irena and I know each other in our personal lives. I've had a chance to watch her parenting, watch her deal with the segregation, and having seen some of those examples of how she deals with things in such a positive and patient manner, I wanted to interview her because I know a lot of people out there have children. Some have small children, like Irena, and there's two. And so at this point, with all the daycares closed and the schools closed, this is what a lot of people are having to manage. So I wanted to take an opportunity to interview Irena, ask her some questions, and hopefully she can give us some tips and tricks. I know she can give us some tips and tricks on how to manage the situation. So, do you mind if we start?
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it. We've been trying all day to connect with the children. It's kind of tough. And so now it's their bedtime, and this is an evening recording. So, I can understand you've had a full day already. So, we're just going to go with it and roll with whatever we get. So, Irena, tell me, how do you mentally kind of prepare yourself with this being confined now and having your children right there with you to look after?
So, first off, I kind of feel like we're in one of those thriller movies that's based on a true story. Normally, I'm that person in the movie theater that can't handle the suspense at the most climatic part of the movie, and I'm the one Googling the ending to calm my nerves. So, right now, I kind of really want to Google the ending so that I know how the rest of this is going to go, but
Yeah.
I can't. Um, and sometimes it is hard to bear that. But you know what? We will be able to Google this one day, and it'll just be a Wikipedia entry.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's something to keep in mind.
Right.
What
It
works
too shall
for
pass.
Yeah, exactly. What works for me that I found in the last few weeks is one thing is getting ready for the day. For me, that might just be washing my face, putting on moisturizer, giving myself a little face massage, maybe doing some deep breathing while I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Some eyeliner goes a long way. Everyone has their own thing that makes them feel ready. And that's kind of what I've been doing. Throughout the day, I'll also add in at least one of the following. I'll go outside, get some fresh air, even if it's just 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe a funny episode from a favorite show that gets your funny bone going. I
Yeah.
always like that. And a quick workout. And you know what? Right now is a great time to explore that because there's so many businesses that are closing down. They're moving it virtual. They're offering free classes online. Um, Yoga studios closing down. It's amazing what the international community is coming together to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do one of or more of those each day, which kind of help me with my grounding.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few things that are mandatory for me every day. So, like
Mm-hmm.
a quick shower, talking to another adult about something other than the pandemic or the kids,
Right.
eating nourishing food, staying hydrated, the fresh air, right?
Mm-hmm.
Turning off the news and social media if the negativity starts to make my mind um,
Yeah.
roller coaster, down
Mm-hmm.
down a bad hole.
Yeah. That
And
makes sense.
disconnecting in general a few times throughout the day has created moments of peace and clarity. One thing that I've realized is before when I was in my hectic work life, and even with the new baby, whenever my dad came to visit, he would play all day with my 3-year-old. Whatever the kid wanted to do, my dad would be right there with him. And we're all like, how does he have the energy for this?
Yeah.
And I've realized something, it dawned on me, it doesn't require energy. It just requires being completely present in the moment and getting down to their level. And that inner child inside of us just wants to come out and play. Once you create that space for it, and our adult brain can take a little break.
Mm-hmm.
So I've immersed myself in play with my toddler a few times, and it's quite relaxing actually.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of other things is getting that adult time, whether it's with my husband or on FaceTime, Skype. And you know what? Some good chocolate always goes a long way.
Yes, indeed. I love that. And so you mentioned something that I was actually curious to know more about. You said, like, play, let's play. And I'm wondering, is there anything that you do to get into that mode of play? Because right now I kind of see a lot of adults worried and trying to keep a cool head and a front so they're not worrying their children. And so, how do you help yourself not worry so much, aside from, of course, blocking seeing the news and the media and constantly being bombarded with messages? So, how do you get yourself into that play mode?
Taking a deep breath and reminding myself of what I want my child to remember about this time. Does he want to remember that mom and dad were always talking about it and always looking worried and always looking anxious and always on their phones and always reading the news? Or do I want them to remember that we took this opportunity to connect? And
Right.
that kind of grounds me when I really feel that and ask myself that, and take a deep breath and get down to his level. Like, of course, put my phone away, put it far away, turn it off, turn off the TV, and grab one of his toys and just really tune into what he's saying and just join.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's been working for me.
I love that word, join. Just get beside him, pick up a crayon if that's what he's doing, or a car, whatever.
That's literally what I did.
Yeah, I love that. That's so wonderful. So it's just being in the moment, embracing it. And I love what you said. And that's, I'm so embracing, enjoying this protected time with my family. And it's interesting because we are so used to, in our country, in Canada, to fast pace. I mean, I could say the same thing about Americans, fast paced, go, go, go. And, you put your kind of head down and you just keep going forward. And before you know it, you get somewhere and you're going, how did I get here? Look at my kids, he's 10 now.
Yeah.
It happens so quickly. And so this is one of those opportunities that you can slow yourself down and think about, like you said, how do I want to remember this moment? How do I want my child to remember this moment? And the little one may not remember, of course, her being 3 months and all, but he probably could, right?
Yeah.
At 3. Yeah. So that's wonderful.
And you know what they always say, children won't remember, especially young children, they won't remember the details of what was going on, but they'll remember how they felt.
Yeah.
And how you made them feel. So
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
That's right. Yeah. That's wonderful. And so tell me, how do you handle being with an infant and a toddler at the same time?
Well, I know I'm not alone in saying that I'm often wishing I could spend more time with my family, right? And so, like you said, the situation is an opportunity to shift from that fear mindset to that growth mindset,
Mm-hmm.
to slow down. And that concept of slowing down is what really helps. Whenever I feel like I'm getting a little agitated or a little annoyed, maybe, I realize that my brain is 10 steps ahead and I'm trying to think of how I want things to go and what I thought would be happening.
Mm,
And then again, it's like, wait, slow down. Um, just be right now in this moment.
yeah.
That can wait. You literally have nowhere to be right now, right?
And so as you slow down, it's almost as if you're also shifting your expectations from what you might have wanted to happen to, well, that's nice, but right now this other thing is happening right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes all the difference for sure is expectation. Yeah. We can easily disappoint ourselves if we have too high of an expectation. Certainly because right now is a bit of an uncertain time. We don't really know what to expect or how long this might be, which is why we're having this conversation, because I wanted people to see, here's a real live person with 2 kids. We lost it there for a second. Now you're back. Here's a real life person. She's handling 2 kids. It isn't easy. It's not easy for anybody. But these are some of the strategies that have been helping you. And I'm glad you can share that with other people. So tell me, how do you keep yourself from being overwhelmed then by the situation that's happening? How do you find a way to keep that phone away, keep away from the TV and the internet?
One is being gentle with myself and my thoughts when they do become negative. I mean, I think it's completely normal to be a little bit afraid, right? But not letting myself spiral. So grounding myself, knowing what steps to take, and what helps me feel grounded. Whether it's deep breathing exercises that
Mm-hmm.
even it's like a minute of your time, 30 seconds of your time sometimes. Take 4 inhales through your nose and exhale as slowly as you possibly can, slower than you want to through your mouth. That alone helps me really slow down
Yeah.
and be in the present moment, focusing on gratitude and expressing it to my family, and talking to my husband, or skyping with another adult about those things that are on my mind, but also having conversations that are not about kids and that are not about the pandemic.
Yeah, that's right.
That helps us kind of escape that bubble a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the part about the breathing, because that's a very legitimate, very concrete way of taking care of your overwhelmed feelings or frustration, annoyance, whatever that may be. And it is interesting that you mentioned the slow breathing out, because research does show that when you do breathe out for 6 or more seconds, it does in fact lead to greater calming down faster. And research also shows us actually that when we do reach a state of overwhelm, it does take 20 minutes for us to actually, before we're actually calmed down. There's a cascade of events that happens, and 1,400 hormones, I believe, get released. Stress hormones get released during that time. And so it takes a while to reverse it. So, that is an interesting concept that, I typically share with people so that they know, take the time if you really want to calm down. Otherwise, you might find yourself overreacting quickly before you're ready to go. And it's not your fault if you do try to come back sooner and your nervous system's not ready. It's just your nervous system. And we all have one. So it all functions the same for all of us, no matter who we are. But it's tricky because I think parents can sometimes get hard on themselves, right? They judge themselves, or there's guilt, right?
Yeah. And that's why I say be gentle, where we can't be perfect. And I think you always say, as long as you get parenting right 30% of the time and repair the rest. That often flashes into my head.
Yes, yeah, it is. It's kind of takes the pressure off, right?
Yeah.
And thank goodness somebody did that research, right?
Yeah.
Only have to get it right 30% of the time. Relax. As long as you can say you're sorry or fix things with your kid, talk to your child, it'll be okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And there's something humbling about that, isn't it? When we can admit to our children we've made a mistake. So, yeah, fantastic. It's good to know you listen to me, hey, when I talk. And so, speaking of talking, I'm actually very curious. How do you talk to your 3-year-old about what's going on? Has he asked?
He did. He asked right away, actually, on Monday, a bit surprisingly, because usually sometimes he'll protest going to daycare, right? Until he's there, of course, and then he's happy.
Mhm.
But every day this week, he's asked, "Am I going to daycare today?" And I say, "No, not today." And I kind of, he's 3, so I try to explain in age appropriate language. There's people are sick, some people are sick, and, it's not pleasant. So, the daycare's closed for now, and we're all just going to stay home and hang out for a while.
Mhm.
And it was funny because the next day he was talking to my brother on FaceTime, and my brother asked him, "So, why aren't you at daycare?" And he said, "Someone at daycare is coughing and they're not covering their mouth." And so, but he seems to be satisfied with that answer.
Yeah,
So,
he gets it.
we're going with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So it's like there's some bugs going around and people are getting sick. So we're just going to spend some family time here until it plays out. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And he's clearly gotten it because he's explaining it to other people. So
That's right.
fantastic. And so, one last question. Well, perhaps, I guess we'll see. But I was very curious now that everyone is at home, and I mean, it's so easy to just turn on the TV. I'm just wondering, what are some of the ways that you've maybe kept your kids preoccupied or kid preoccupied?
So, yeah, that's a great question. As a parent who is normally, the 9 to 5 dinner, bath time, bedtime routine, being at home, even just on mat leave, but especially now, it's a new ball game. Um, Trying to figure out what to do with all
Mm-hmm.
this time. You can't go on play dates. You can go outside, but you can't really go to social settings. So here's what's been working for us. We pick a few things to anchor our day around. 3 meals with as a family, uh, having some outside time if the weather permits, which I'm grateful for. Spring is in the air and it's coming soon. Um, and having bath time and story time. Those are the things that we know are going to happen throughout the day. The rest of the day we are flexible with, depending on the flow and the energy of the day. Um, it depends. Maybe some days we do end up TV binging a lot
Mm-hmm.
because just everyone is kind of in a lower mood, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But other days we do a lot more games, get
Yeah.
messy. Every other day I try to have my 3-year-old in the kitchen with me and we cook or bake something together, and that easily kills an hour, right? And it's fun
Mm-hmm.
and you're getting something done. So that's what's been working for us.
Yeah.
And actually, one idea I just heard of is doing play dates through FaceTime.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't tried it yet, but I thought that was pretty clever. So we're going to try that and see how that goes.
Nice. I love that. That sounds like a wonderful idea. A lot of things are going online now, right?
Yes.
So it's important. We want to try to minimize the impact of this as best as possible on businesses, on people's lives. And so online sometimes for certain things can absolutely be a way to go. That's a wonderful idea. I really love that. So it sounds like flexibility is good to have. Don't beat yourself up if you use some TV, right? But
Yep.
there are lots of things you can do still to preoccupy kids. And I think I heard, and you correct me because you'll know probably more about this, but there are resources that are online that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's quite a few popping up. One of my favorite, Avital Schneider Levy, I think is her name.
Mhm.
She runs the website theparentingjunkie.com, and they just released yesterday, I believe, a guide on not just surviving, but thriving with your kids during this strange time we find ourselves in. And it's got everything from what to do with your kids, what kinds of activities, how to organize your day, how to take care of yourself. It's all in there. It's free. It's on the website. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And that's just one resource. I've been seeing a lot of them pop up. There's
Gotcha.
a kids yoga website. I think they're offering free membership for 30 days. I think it's called cosmickids.com. Yeah.
Okay. We'll post some of these underneath the video
Okay.
so that people can look at it and check it out.
And I'm sure other people have heard of other ones, and we can all just throw it in the thread, right?
Compile it. Exactly. I love that idea.
Let's share resources. Yeah.
That's right. We are stronger together. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I know it's already kind of late. And I mean, your kids are sleeping and you're kind of hoping they're not going to wake up as we're doing this interview. So we made it. Fantastic. Thank you again so much for sitting with me tonight, and getting through this. I very much appreciate that.
Thanks so much. This was so fun.
Awesome. All right. Take care. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.